Recording in progress. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And uh, to those who will be, I think I have a covered voice. All right. Okay. Definitely come forward. All right. I want to lost, a lot of energy. The school that is for the entire university, the entire kuliah and Goma. I think the ticket is more than nothing. All right. Well, congratulations to those who have been selected by their respective kuliah. And want you to have in mind that when you are presenting your kuliah, later on the 15th of May, you carry your kuliah limit. So it's a huge responsibility. And may I know, is this your first time in QRT? All of you, all of you. All right. I'm not so sure. The participants were coming? All right. Can you make the screen bigger? Not without the play the slide. Sorry? Okay, no, I'm fine. All right, first time. I'm sure you are excited. Whether you are excited to start speaking or excited to read, it doesn't matter. Your excitement is there. All right? So you're excited to read or not? All right? So you must have that spirit, or else why are you here? Mm-hmm. And this is the opportunity where you showcase that. Not only your research, but your ability to deliver that in a way. Now, let me ask you, honestly, between compounding ideas full of abstract, like a complex ideas full of abstract, and stories, which one you would love to listen more? Complex ideas or stories? No. Sorry. Almost created Jannah. Choose one. Old and young. All right? Stories. Stories. Uh-huh. So I'm here to tell you how I have approached our last year agreement, first round out, and I want you to jot down the notes, listen carefully, follow. Follow my work. All right? Okay? Are you ready? Right, because if you lost the game, right? I'm sure your kuliah is not happy, right? Or perhaps you will lost at the national level. I think what that is. All right, now may I know what is your expectation here? Sorry, you still. And may I know your geographic exposure? Education. Okay. Yes. Is this statement a statement to be able, research objective, conveys naturally with things. To be able to, learning skill, okay, it works. Confident. Okay, good. All right. New insight. From which one here? This is correct. Okay. Why are you there? Is the first thing. Two words. Is it 3 minutes, very my title. All right. And you represent which Julia? Yes. All right, sir. Yeah, dispatch. All right. Now we had one, lovely lady from a dispatch competing at the national level last time. All right. Why are you here? Yes. All right. Sit and tell me. Oh, no. Great. Why are you here? Wait, I'm not that. All right, I like that. We will see whether you win or not. Okay. Now, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of perhaps I remember last time. One business, all right. One of the contestants said, "I was full for the media." It's also an honest answer. Don't worry. So you say you want to win. We'll make sure you win. You want to learn new things. I'll make sure. Obviously, you will learn new things and whatever. All right. So trust me. I have produced a result. I think me and the plan of psychology and psychology will together with the okay. We do this survey, one of the right? Okay, to all of you. Now, since all of you first timer, I want you to understand that 3 minute thesis is not like other presentations. Okay, your Viva, your class presentation, even if it's like more or less the business of teaching, yes. Okay, if you're used to business teaching, that 3 minute is yeah, almost similar. The only thing 3 minutes is more of so business teaching is a social topic, right? Okay. Are you ready? I need three things from you. Number one, okay, number one, I want you to participate because there will be hands-on. Okay, there will be questions. Can you participate? Yes, you did because you have, answered my question. Number two, I want energy, right? Because you want to win, I want to see energy. Okay? I say good morning. Can you please, on top of your lungs, say good morning? Good morning. Yes, those best words. And once again, good morning. And I want you to put aside your I know attitude. Oh, I know. I think I know. Okay. Well, if you know, are you living it? All right. Okay, so put that aside. All right. Okay. I have only three things to share with you. Not so many. I would I think, oh, I know. I think for people. Okay. All right, next. Now, these are my topic of presentation today, right? Simplifying complex research, public speaking skills, okay, in relation to 3MT, and also delivery skills also in relation to 3MT, right? So please, if you find it interesting, jot that down. You don't want to stay. All right. You can take pictures if you want to. All right. Now, next. Let me just begin with this statement. You have 180 seconds, one slide, no jargon. Can you change how we see your research? Okay? 180 seconds, one slide, no jargon, because you're telling stories. And when you tell stories or you gossiping about your survivor, this is jargon, a complex jargon, no right? Okay? When you tell a story now, you don't know the results themselves. When you want to talk about your survivor, which is you say those like great people, right? It's just natural. Am I right? Okay, I'm you're from KIC, right? IBF. You don't use the word algorithm, those things. Natural. So this presentation is all about, okay, learning to tell your story, academic story, in a manner that everyone understands. Regardless, you're from which area? Education. So you're presenting in the competition. Oh, very good. So why are you here, ma'am? Yeah, why are you here? Oh, okay, to learn everything. I'm not supposed to do. All right, okay. So, can you change how we see your research? 180 seconds, one slide. What's your take? Yes or no? Participate, please. No. Nabiqul, you said it's easy. No, I withdraw. So, do you think you can do that? Do you think? Okay. Inshallah. Right. Okay. Therefore, okay, if you want to take up this challenge, which you are really at, so this workshop is the workshop for you, in which there will be 3 things that you will achieve. Okay, I will help you to simplify your complex research because we have formula factors. You cannot use this or put that, we cut this, we use things like that. There's a process. You have an SOP, and I want you to deliver with clarity. I will get you first, all right? Participate and see whether you can formulate that or not. And last but not least, okay, I want you to engage with an audience. All right? When I saw the participants enter the hall, all right, I did not feel the vibe, okay, of you want to win. You made it like, right? Okay, people are not interested in you. So if before, okay, even before they start opening your mouth, right? So you need to learn that, and we want that vibe, right? It's not, library enter or from your mahalla coming to your provider guru. That is not the vibe that I want you to bring. All right? If you said you want to win, so, all right? So you yourself, okay, your healthy is very important before people will open your, right? Okay? So my opening, okay, if you notice, I did not introduce myself. Like the normal presentation, I am Azuar, okay, I am, assuming that I am a patient. Assalamualaikum, I am Azuar, from Ahaz, and I'm here today to present my research. Of course, you are here to present, not to dance or not to sing, who you know, all right? So how did I open my, okay, speech this month? Anybody? Can you notice? How did I open my speech? Asking questions. Other than that, no. You're staring at me. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? Yeah, other than that, what else? Okay, I will find out this time. Okay. So in your presentation, you must begin with a hook. okay, with a book. That is why nobody, nobody is doing anything else but looking at me, answering my question. It shows what? Interest. Hey, who is this? He also answered. You know, I don't know where I see it, but so you have some interest, right? Or else, okay, you look at your phone, you look something else, and I'm on your laptop, all right? But overview, your eyes, okay, what you have read up, so you focus. So that is what you want, all right? Okay. And staging wise, okay, I walk here, middle, a bit different, right? Okay. Do what? To get people less boring, to increase more interest. What makes you work? What makes am I right? No, no, no. Okay. So with that 3 minutes, you have to capture that. You know, you have to attract. You have to attract your judges. Okay. Next. Now, what is the MTS? I think all of you know, or else you wouldn't be here. But just to remind you that it's only a 3 minute presentation. Similarly, like business meeting, all right? So it is a 3 minute presentation with only one static slide. Okay, you don't have to scroll, only one thing. I'll show you something, all right? One static slide and the room. Okay, you will present your complex idea, okay, to the non-specialist audience. This one you have to understand. Sometimes you get carried away. You wanted to show, you want good lah, formula, blah, 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 right? And then it turned out, nobody are interested in your story. Because what? They don't understand. They don't understand. Okay? So please write in your notes. The third one is very important. Non-specialist audience. You'll be surprised if you are lucky to go to the national level, in fact, not national, okay, university level, the judges are not from your field. No. Last time me, right? I think forever me. Me, last time me, like so. Okay? So I'm from the social sciences, human sciences. I don't understand about law, right? I don't understand about technical, the ICT or architecture, any other thing. So how much do they know? What do we get? The judges are that is the challenge for us. So do not stand in front, okay, on the stage in front of your judge to impress that. Hey, look, my formula. Hey, look, my judge's statement. Not interested. They're not interested. Keep that for your that one by the other. That is I mean, technical formula, framework. All right, that one by far. 3 minutes, just straight as the storytelling between just like you and your friend. Okay, using ordinary language, a language that is understood by the next people. All right, okay. So the judge will be looking at 3 things: clarity, engagement, and communication. Simple. It's simple, right? Next. Next. Okay. Now the core challenge, okay, the core challenge, the word the block, right? It's not about what you know. Okay, it's about what others understand about what you are doing. What you know, alhamdulillah. As a future scholar, doctor, you have to know, okay, about your research. But in this particular competition, you must focus on what others have understood about your research, about what you have done for years into okay? The history, okay, the history and whatnot. Dr. Camp will explain to you. All right. Now, what you have to do, you have to make a mind shift from today. Okay, from today, make that mind shift from your academic writing, your, I'm sure most of them are already connected, right? No, I mean, you have done your They were, right? Not Disney lah. Okay. Okay, so from that academic writing to storytelling, I like it. That shows what? Engagement. Okay, so you have to change that mindset from the academic writing that you used to do to storytelling. Okay, that is one. And then you have to make a shift from that data heavy, okay, to idea driven. I'll show you the next. Right? So can you do that mind shift? All right, okay, next. So let us look at how to simplify your complex research. You have written what? 5 chapters, 6 chapters. My kids and stuff, my PhD, 8 chapters. Solution with people. All right, I think complex research and that one. Okay, we have read 11 chapters, 12 chapters, but I am is only 12 chapters. You have written that, and you want to compress the entire thing into only 2 minutes. Right? It's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. But I can show you, okay, if you follow the technique, you are able to do that. That's all right. Now, this is the framework. Okay, PSI. That is all. The problem, the solution, and the impact. Only 3 things. Only 3 things the judges want to see. All right? And make sure you take them in the account. So now, I want you to start thinking, okay, draft one line. I study what? Because I want to solve each problem so that it produces this impact. That is all. That is all. All right? For example, I study, okay, I tell you what. I study production, okay, wheat production, which is, due to some problem, the production is less. All right? I want to increase that. I want to increase that by using what? IoT in agriculture. The humidity, the soil, all those things like what I do over there. So that, okay, what is the impact? If I am able, okay, to increase the wheat plantation using IoT, meaning, okay, more food and what? More people can get fed. So there's no shortage of. That is all. So can you start with yours? What do you study? Then mine. 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes. All right. You tell me. Okay. You tell me the problem, the solution, and the impact. I study. Okay. Not assuming. I am the judge. You tell me in your own words. I study what? Okay. Because of problem, I use this as a solution, and out of this, okay, you will. Okay. So, can you write? Can you write or think or construct that sentence now? I want to listen. I want to listen. Don't use just a normal, basic language word, no technical. Okay. You said you want to win, right? Can we start with you? Okay, listen everyone. Yes. I want to listen to problem. I want to listen to solution. I want to listen to impact. All right, yeah. Start. What are you talking about reducing maintenance cost, is it? Reading 5 minutes. Right? Yeah, you? Right? You are representing your Kuliah, It's your Kuliah presentation. Okay? I study on how to long because we have so many factories that produce pollution. I know this. So that if Panggil Dr. LCT. 1 minute. Okay, yeah.
Very practical. Was to make more progressive pressure from retail infrastructure. So we find the extra for the program.
And starting from. All right. And looking at your face, I think you're not confident in your work. So that is dangerous. If you are not confident with your own work, that is dangerous, right? Okay, what about you? I study this mental health and how it affects your confidence, but because it's overrated, it can make changes on the full climax so that people will get teachers will fix their organization. Right? Doesn't say the first one is the last one. Well, in your when you say the 3 MP statement, it's not about showing off that you develop it for you. You repeat it. No. It's just telling them basic communication, basic language, what direct your studies system all right? Okay, past 1 minute already. Yeah. Nice study, they okay. So what I'm totally good, the underused, they able to go to a new level of intuition. You understand? No. I don't know. I don't understand. Okay. Yes, you want to try? Yes. Because the next often it learning from whether it is non all right, okay. Now, I understand the rest except, okay, the last one. Because I am from IUM, I understand what it's telling. But if the judge is from other places, from the industry, what is that? We don't understand. All right, so I will have. It's okay, okay, fine. Thank you very much. We'll stop. All right, but I like how you start. You make that connection, the problem and the solution, but how you end the impact. Okay, if it is the context of IUM, okay, okay. But if it is for the national level, I think we have to tone down that. All right. Okay. Who else? You're not participating. Oh, okay. So what about you?
I'm talking about in a multiple society. Muslims in minority, they are facing Islamophobic issues. So through the Muslim lens, I want to establish that Muslims, they are being recognized in the society as they are the part of this whole water.
Do you understand what is water? No, do you understand? You don't understand. All right. So, sorry, do you understand it? Yeah. Do you understand now? Uh-huh. Not yet. Because you also understand what you see this. All right. So you the jogging, you know, all right. Okay, now. So please avoid academic traps. For instance, like what those we have mentioned now. Second SAP, okay, the jargon over yes, second SAP, again, only you understand because you're from the team. Okay, I'm trained in vector anthropology, right? Okay. If I say that, okay, I understand how to follow. Do that. But if I tell you that I studied the social and cultural aspect of healing and treatment, which one do you understand? The second one, right? So I don't use radical anthropology. I will use only that term, all right, that specialization with those in my field. Because they are political focus. Right? You understand what is political? Okay, close, close. Once that close, only I know. All right? So you have to what? Be more independent. So put your, what is this, put aside, okay, your judgment. And then no explanation. Remember, people is only two. I don't know you. So the judges, okay, they are trained. They are trained that, okay, the moment you open your mouth, I want to listen to A, B, and C. What is A? Problem. What is B? Solution. What is C? Impact. So we are trained already. But when you go to, to Madagascar, to Mumbai, all right, that will be difficult. It will be, all right? Okay, so my advice, use analogy, everyday language, and also example. This one, I don't forget one example. Right? Okay, next. Now, analogy. So when you begin your presentation, I want you to start creating an analogy. Okay, I'll give you one example. And now, why do you need analogy here? Because it turns your abstract, complex idea into something that can be related to ordinary people, to the judges, to other audience. Right? I'll give you an example. Let's say, okay, data algorithm. No, I do not know. But if you make that into a word that everyone understands, oh, that is what she's trying to say, to tell. Okay? Data algorithm, only the ICT. Okay? But if you turn that exact word into something like a GPS guiding position, still it is data algorithm. That is how it functions. But if you put that in a layman term, like a GPS guiding system, okay, thank you for you. Okay, you get that? All right. So one sentence, one analogy. For example, I have I have your slide here. I will share with you. I will show this slide how to cross that analogy. All right. Next. Now, the public speaking skill, correct? The formula, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start with a hook, and then tell the problem, tell the solution. The impact is not 3. I combine all it. And the last one, the closing, must be memorable, something that everyone can. All right? So the hook, plus the problem, the solution impact is now, PSI, plus the memorable closing. So make sure in your script, okay, make sure in your script, you have all these 5 elements. And these 5 elements, okay, you must clock 3 minutes. So the hook, perhaps a few seconds. Okay, the problem, perhaps, 1 minute, 1 minute or half minute. This one should be longer, this one is longer, the one closing shorter. So you must have that in 5, okay? When you presented in the 5th of May, the preliminary round. So prior to that, I have requested CPF, Badami, to get the participants to send all their slides. Okay, I want to go. Okay, it's a bonus because what? Okay, I will give some right? So this is the speaking formula. Stick to this, okay? You'll be fine. Stick to this, you'll be okay. Okay, next. Other than that is your voice control, body language. I think all of you have come across the same points, right? Not because it is 3 minutes, it is overwhelming. You tend to what? Speak quickly. We will train you in how to speak. When you draft your script, okay, we tell you that the hook, okay, must be a few seconds. Okay, this one just now, the problem must be like 1 minute. We will tell you when you prepare your, okay? So script later also should have prepare. I think she will help the participant to get prepare the script, right? And then you have to learn also when to pause, okay? When to raise your voice, okay? If you want to emphasize something, for example, let's go. All right? It's not that no. Correct? If you want to emphasize something, it's important. Therefore, something like this. Okay? So in that script later, we will tell you emphasize here. Raise your voice or make it lower. The tonality of your, the voice, the projection. We will scrutinize. Okay? We will tell you what to do when we see your script. All right. So it is not. We will not. Get you to practice on your own. It must be a guided practice. Guided practice. That will we will have. We will try to go to the national level. We have series of practice and naturally. All right, and then the tone, everything. Dr. Pam will explain in the afternoon. And then I contact natural classes, as I said. Okay? Confidence and posture, be respectful. When I say be respectful, as a Malay local, you don't have to, go on the stage and do that. But as I said, be respectful. And no people you do that. Right? Put on the people know that you are ready and you are confident. Right? They know. Now, when you look at me, okay, describe in one word. What did you see? Confident, thank you. Short, thank you. Oh, information. All right. Very good. Although I haven't had my breakfast. All right. What else? Clear. Thank you. Participant. Engaging. Thank you. All right. So you must make sure, okay, those things are there. Okay, that Azuar, all these things you hear obviously from the opposite. Okay, so I contact natural justice, confidence, and posture. So I saw because everyone is looking at it. Okay, nobody except for the staff that they are playing their phone. But you people, very good. Okay, so my energy, my stamina, okay, my clarity, my tone of voice, right? Okay, so next, the delivery skill. Right now, since you will tell your story, it must have the script that you will prepare later for the 3 minutes must have the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's just like when you see drama, Samarita, whatever that. Okay, that's climax and anti-climax. All right, at the beginning, that's the middle. All right, and then that beat at the end. So at the beginning of your story, okay, tell them why that problem matters. Remember the earlier slide just now? Problem, okay? Why that study? Why that researcher matters? So again, no jargon. Okay? Can I listen why that research matters? Yeah, brother, yeah. No more cloth. I don't want that cloth. Tata cloth, so I want. What is it? You want a better environment. Okay, that's the environment in the future. What about you?
But huh? Just extra funding.
Okay. You want to get extra funding. What about you? To save, okay, to store our data. Yes, ma'am. What about you? Okay, positive behavior. All right, sir. Yeah.
Change the style.
Oh, wow. Change. That is a huge word. Other than that, because yes, our intention is for change. To change, leadership, resolution. Try to yourself that because it's like a complaint. You can do the thing again, yeah. All right. If you can tone down a bit, right? Yeah. Then, all right. Okay. More portrayal, more positive portrayal of women and women. All right. Oh, different. All right. This is my. Okay, so what you got is because you want to save cost, you want to, this and that. And then what you do? Please then, no literature review. I did not mention anywhere literature review. Even methodology too. Oh, I go to the lab, I do experiment, I conduct survey, I do the science. No, we're not interested. That is why it is only. You can mention in passing. For example, analyzing the literature, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So what you did? What you did? What you did is what I mean, if you have a specific right, section, I can experiment. Yeah, I experiment. Yeah, like for example, of course, you have to experiment. You can take back all right, okay. Then why is that thing of your right? So you tell this what you did, okay? And then the last one, why we should care? Why we should care? Why we should care? You said save cost, right? Okay. Why we should care? Why have a lot of money? So yeah, I just understand. So why we should care? Saving cost. Yeah, why? I'm doing because of the economic crisis. Okay. Yeah. Why you want to get the video from them? That's what? Better what? Better what? That's the world. Oh no, that's too big. No. Okay. Don't go to the most fun. Be put logic, okay? So that people can relate to your story. People can relate to your story. Now, why we should care of that positive portrayal of Muslims? Too long. The answer is too long. The answer is too long. Why we care? Perhaps we want to say that, okay, to restore the dignity of women. To stop. Oh, I don't understand. But if you answer that way, well, I don't see much attention about that. You want to improve the world? Are you useful men? Go ahead, go alone. Do you understand? Do you get me? I'm telling you because what? Okay, this is the mind of the design. This is the mind of the. Right? So why do we care? Then, the environment. Okay, before you're talking about okay, what that was the minute of get you what okay, that suddenly at the back, okay, you at the end of the story, okay, you're looking for the story. So it doesn't match. It doesn't match. So be careful that your story is, okay, your story must what is it, the whole okay, in mind. You talk about A and suddenly you end there. X. It must be A and then you end also right? So all these three, okay, requires a careful attention, right? Requires a careful attention when you draft your script. Because we do not need that redundant. Because when we first listen to the problem that we're studying, we already set our mind that okay, A is studying, right? And then you move to the next minute and the third minute into the different. All right? Because we always stick to why this way. And whatever that will relate to, yes, question. Never. eat a multivariate, roasted, in a simple, so that they understand, oh, Malaysia is the highest obesity in Southeast Asia. Understand. But if you start, telling them with the intention that to show, wow, you are so, flashy, edgy, that's where the right? So give me conversation. It's like, you are, if you did not use jargon, right? Okay? So a simple language, right? So this is how you will structure your food, more food, right? So the moment you want to put, okay, all those jargon, you want to put jargon, you start to put your jargon, or you have written jargon there, in a simple process. You, I understand that students, in your teenage business, I want it, all right? I won at the university level. I left because 3-minute teaching exit introduced the peer in Australia in 29, I did 2009, I think so I'm not familiar with because after I left, right? Okay, yeah. Why I want to tell you about what is the story, the story, so that people can relate. People are together. People feel, people feel that your research is necessary. Your research is the research that we long waited one now. Long overdue, we should be done now. So you want the judges and the audience, okay, so what? We feel that together. Okay, for that matter, next slide. One second. In your story. Remember your story drama? There's a cat, there's Hakim, right? Not more of the way. So you said that you want to gain extra money and to create a mental world. I did not see that emotion, correct? In that story. Because what? You are still not sure what are you doing. What are you doing? Right? Not one of that. Impact is very crucial. So you must make the judges, okay, the audience, have some kind of curiosity. Okay, after 3 minutes, they will ask with one. Okay, I'm not going to deal with handling questions and yet. Okay, this is a kind of introduction to human, right? Okay, and then you must make them feel concerned that hey, we should do something with the laws. They either handbook, they handbook, either whatever, or rules for the media. Okay, when they show all these Muslim, women images, right? So they must have that. Now, how do you know that all these emotions are there? You can focus on them. Not from the same field, because they know from other fields. Are you curious about my research? Okay, they say yes, good. Okay. Is there any concern? Okay, yeah, very good. And then you must make sure that there's a kind of, they're very hopeful that I hope, Ryan, that you hope that what is it? The environment. So, that means, no. Yeah, we want to make the environment, say, for example, safe, our school safe. So then that with this research, something good can be and can be done by school management, for example. The safer school. All right? Okay, next. Now, you must end your story with a strong, memorable closing. This is what we call the strong ending technique, right? So in the aim integrity, you must have this one. We call in business, we call it CPA. CPA call to action, you have a product, all right? CPA means purchase the product. So in your treatment CPA, also after this, you must what? Perhaps you create movement of making the world a better place with Mohamad. You create this movement, you create what you're saying. Yeah, in Sifat. Okay, combine three parts of plastic. All right, okay, so that we can use that. Even for everyday life, over the okay. So yeah, we should start to create, a business startup or whatever. We should start funding this researcher more. We should get them to sign a contract with us. So that is the if you just listening, okay, then no what? All right. And then, the call to action is the big picture impact. It's not only for you, but the music, all right, but to the what? To the community. I remember when we were there at the national level, actually, all the research has to really work. For example, one of the research is modifying this rice via radioactive. They have already planted many small acres now. Because what? They want to increase the shortage of rice. That's the important rice. But we have radioactive. So when we eat the rice, we get radioactive. It's not that listen to your speech. Okay, thank you very much. That's what you have to say, polishing is that brilliant ideas and only you is what? That is very, very so memorable closing, you can form with how you begin. For example, this one. So everyone, are you with me? Okay, okay, thank you very much. So yeah. Okay, go on, that no, that never happened. If we look at it. Alright? So you must end with something engaging. So after listening to my presentation, are you with me? Yay, right? Next. Now, the winning slide, okay? You said you want to win it? Let's make sure. Three things. It's okay. It's not a joke. She wins. All right. Must have minimum tags, strong visual, and support speech. Support speech, not repeating. Okay, not reading. Okay, I show you one slide. Okay, so this is the slide, okay, by our Nabiqul. All right. Remember, I told you analogy. What is the analogy? The baby son and the baby's son and what is this? Teletubby. That is the analogy. That is the analogy. So I want you to think, what kind of analogy can you come up with? Because you will submit this kind of all right. Remember, I told you 3 minutes, one static slide. This one only. All right. 2 non-specialist audience. Is there any jargon about law? Any jargon about law? I tak clause, act. No. Simple terms. So I want to see, okay, I want kind of slide. The layman term slide. Yeah. All right. And this is the analogy. The sun and the Teletubbies. Right? So think of your own analogy. Think of your own analogy. For example, okay, for example, there's one presentation. Okay, the analogy is what? With the superheroes. If you want to save the world as well, okay, Superman, that is your analogy. All right, so you must think an analogy to start your story. Because if you simply start your story as oh, my Azuar from baby student, I'm here to present. Of course, you're going to do it. So you start with an analogy. For example, okay, I will dance last year in Tasman. Close your eyes and imagine you are eating ice cream. So everyone close your eyes. Okay? And then wait for the next one. So the analogy of the earthquake is with the ice cream. With the ice cream. So think of an analogy. I give you five minutes, of an analogy that can best text, okay, or describe your story. What will you do? If your friend used very ugly, you use what? Whatever. Right? So can you think? Okay, one analogy. In fact, analogy. That polymer, I see. All right? So this one, baby son, baby. You don't start, okay? You don't start with, okay, straight away with the message. Because what the hook? The analogy serves as the hook. Okay, you ask them questions, you ask them to raise your hand, you ask them to, close their eyes, so give that analogy. So they understand. If you're engineering, you can start with a polymer, but if you say, okay, imagine, okay. So what will be your analogy? Huh? Don't have anything except money. All right? Okay, remember, what I'm doing here is to guide you the key. If you miss it, okay, well, you can extend that to your video. All right? So, any analogy? Let's imagine you are traffic. Okay, police traffic, yeah? Yeah, and then what? After that, really cool. What we do. That same lining by okay. So you have to sit down. We have to sit down, right? And see the best analogy that you can do with your topic. Whatever you want. Any idea? Because my problem is that because I have anything to it doesn't matter, that's your problem. Okay? Yeah, you have to come up with an analogy. So that if you remember, not all the judges and audience are true. They are not from the for their education. So how can you tell your story, okay, in which that they understand? Alright? Although they are not teachers, although they are not in the school. Alright, so give an analogy. For example, imagine there's a crazy person walking on the road. Okay, I think. Although not crazy, I think. Okay, so now there's a crazy person, okay, is reflected in your report. When I the judging was in our nursing. What is it? Breathing in, breathe. But unfortunately, it was what you cannot believe that, because I think as a PhD student, you always feel that something with PhD, you are elegant, you're on top of the world. I had mine, you have mine. is a degree. It is a degree. Okay? So, what is the impact of studying this? Okay? I have to tell, okay, all moms to share their menopausal experience so that they know how to treat kids. They know how to look after themselves, you know, after the natural period. Yeah. All right. So you have to come up with an analogy. What do you think of this? My analogy is what is other things. So you may do for the house, the way you rent the house to the other, so that you get monthly rental. Okay. Now imagine instead of a house, it's a forest. Right? So like factories, pay to the government to keep the forest healthy. Why? Because the forest is here. Okay. Nabiqul, I think I'll be check, man. I get the forest, and then suddenly when it comes to that. So, okay, what about you, the Muslim image portrayal of what do you think? What is the, yeah, shattered mirror? Okay, listen, shattered mirror, I like that. Okay, okay, yeah, I've seen shattered mirror. It is relatable. I've seen one. I've seen one, and also the complete piece. All right. So you have to work that. Okay. What about you? Yeah. What is your analogy? This mirror town. Okay, yang one. Hakim. How do you want to link with them? Yeah. Okay. Then we can put a small farm house, so that small town will one call it house. Okay. Then okay. Not in the it's only in the case on the outside. But the baby is actually because what happened in the small farm house inside I see. So it's preparation from the master to just move from really from there. What about you? Any analogy in mind?
With what I think in that being told that is wrong, but only when you hide yourself.
All right. Okay, that is a bit philosophical. Philosophical. So if you can tone that down, less philosophical, that will save, the time the judges, struggling to interpret. All right, because we cannot read your mind. You might have a nice one, but we still don't understand. So less philosophical. All right. For example, imagine you are locked in a dark room. Okay, I can imagine, I can relate that. Imagine, you are trapped in the lift. You don't find out. Okay, perfect. No. But can you smell? It's only one static light. And do not, again, do not. So some presenters, they like, you might not do it. If you have to think on it, or just all right, this is to the first minute, okay, is on the top there, the second minute here, and the third minute. Okay, so you have to what? You have to come up with an analogy, all right? And here are the few things, remember I told you, you put it nicely, whether you want to have a diagram, it depends. If you see a diagram, you can this part is one, it shows a relationship or whatever, but no problem. Correct? So this is the slide that you will submit, all right, for the first one. So when you submit, so you will create Google Drive, right? So that our participants can upload their smart file, all right? Okay. Any question about the get an idea, right? How the slide like 1%. Very minimal, okay, very minimal, very clear, okay, very clear. And of course, if you look at the title, there's nothing, nothing what? Nothing, complicated, even the layman word. Am I right? Let the baby sun shine around it. Baby, Sally is my favorite. Okay? Can you understand the words? Uh-huh. You're from law, you're from education, you're from engineering, you're from architecture. Can you understand the English? Yes. Right? So give it to with regards to the colors, or you want to highlight, because last time, Dr. Pep and I, they told Nabiqul, please, they highlight this one, because this is the one that you want to emphasize. All right? This is the one that you want to emphasize. So no one will left behind with the existence of the new solar energy load. All right? And yeah, sufficient solar power is the problem that we want to highlight. All right? Okay. Next. All right. So my final takeaway, please think that. If you look at that previous slide just now, this is for complicated slide, loss. One word. All right? Simplicity wins. All right? Number 2, storytelling. And who has the recording of all the communication potential, for example? The recording of all the contestants. Yeah, the brass we can share. Okay, let them chat. I think they are in one WhatsApp. Okay, and then delivery creates impact. So when you deliver your story, you know, this is like when you tell story with your friends. Correct? So your tone of voice, your body language. Did I just walk like this? Okay, everyone. Okay. Did I walk like that? Turn over? No, right? So that's something important. I will wait for it. I will use that. Right? And my tone of voice. Okay, my neck. That's right. Okay, right. Obviously, the stage will be small. You don't have to work on that hand with that hand, but at least that comes. That will make in your presentation. Okay? So simplicity, make it simple. There's make sure you are telling a story. Just put in your mind, I'm telling a story, I'm telling a story. Not viva, not yet. Okay? Telling story. It's just like when you bump into a friend, okay? They ask you, okay, what's your opinion? You tell a story, right? My supervisor, you know, I got this thing, and then he said, you know, that kind of story, they jagged, no? Oh, because my supervisor, dia makan sini, dia buat ini. Okay? So, if in my 3 minutes detail, the last one, okay, 3 minutes detail, okay, you are representing which kuliah? Yeah. Oh, in hard. Okay? So you tell your mind that, right? I'm telling a story. Not viva, not proposal defense, not class examination. Story. Okay, and then yeah, delivery praise. In fact, I do understand that different cultures, they have a different way of, you know, talking to people. It's okay. That one can help you, okay, guide you. All right, next. So you make a checklist, right? Okay, make a checklist that clear message, no jargon. You will prepare a script. So the moment, okay, there's a technical word, polymer. The moment, whatever, give me one technical term, your research. There must be a technical term, okay? Algorithm. Okay, for example, KICT or whatever technical, all right? Remove that. All right? And then strong opening your hook, memorable ending, and confident delivery. Now, confidence can be seen naturally. Naturally. Okay. So if you're not confident, even you are not sure of your own work, when I don't know, what is your research? It's your research, man, not mine. And yet you give me that face, that look, I'm not confident of my own work. All right. Some people are overconfident. Right? So whatever it is, okay, you must make your audience understand. Understand your work. Why? Because they need to take action. They need to feel that, oh, I'm going to do what I'm doing in that field. I want a better, so what can we do next? Create a movement, create an association, all right? Content delivery, and remember, your research deserves to be understood. Although I'm not from your field, right? But as a human being, whatever you are doing there, it will affect me. Okay? As a human being, citizen of the earth, right? So please, make me understand. Make us, okay, make us support what you are doing. For that meaning, all right? So not just publish. Because publish is only for the journal. The reach out is the letter. But the impact, the video impact is even wording and meaning. Okay. Next. Oh, thank you. So memorable ending. 3 years, 3 finals, 3 minutes. That's it. That. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for listening. Good luck with your class. All right, Q&A, or ready to complete it now. Any questions? Oh, yes. What? Yes. Oh, good. Oh, okay. Okay. One for better one. All right. Which one? Oh, that is up. Super. Okay. No. Yeah. After this slide. Okay. Yeah. The tennis up is what? My angle. Yeah, your question is, you're making a statement or one or a question? So, all right. So, I know I'm very friendly. I'm going here. The focus of the research. You should watch the video. It's really good. Watch your wait, let's see if I'm back. All right, now I understand that you are confused. All right. Where's the research topic? Where's the methodology? You can be like that. All right. In a 3-minute presentation, it's not like a wine bar. It's not like a proposal you can hear. It is what? Telling the research in a manner which everyone understands. Okay? So the telling is via story. All right? So that's why you see that. It's not this. Actually, this is law, the field of law. But remember, you go to the second slide, sister. Back. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. Don't touch this. This one. You have to remember when you write your script, non-specific. Or remember like this now. When I want to present, I remember Azuar. Azuar is not from Impact. I want to present it, or the Azuar is not from IBS. The Azuar is not from Law. Okay. So how do I get her understand my research in a simple manner? And it is very interesting to tell about your research the way you tell it. It is even more memorable, especially in my case. So until today, I'll tell you what, the trainer, Dr. Cam and I, call him, baby one. Forgot already to say baby son. Okay, take until today. Over already. Okay, we go back to the slide, sister. Okay, question. All right. She asked you. She asked you. Okay. Yeah. What was the question you said? You want him to run? Title. Okay. Through the law. Through law. Yeah. There's one an act something like the energy law. Renewable energy law. Renewable energy law. So if he explained renewable energy law, I don't understand. What is that? Okay. But he turned into something which is understood by, remember, non-specialist. Non-specialist. Right? So by law, of course, it is for special audience. The person, the scholars in that field, right? They wanted to see your theoretical framework, they wanted to see your structural framework, they wanted to see formulas, they wanted to see, the process, experiment. But for 3MT, non-specialist. All right. Okay. So, any question, or are you ready now? Yes, I want to ask for I want to put what is qualification for central government, but we want to explain to the audience that this will affect the community. I will say sometimes it will become perfect. So we have everything on how they say, I want to make laws to government, not involve the society. But I want to apply it to the society, not to that's exactly what is last time. All right. Or that's what you can push it. Now, with regard that question, okay, yes, I understand. At some point, we want to tell the government what we should do, or whatever the intention there. Okay. Later, when you draft your script, okay, when you stand in front of us, okay, me and Dr. Sam, start presenting and start talking, we will see the flow of the words and how we can make that in a more diplomatic way, how we can make that into a more less offensive or less. Right? Because at the moment now, I don't see anything yet. But don't you worry, like how we have been, right? How we have people to other. Okay. With the effect participant last time, yes, it's very, it's about Hamka ideal. So we do not want it to be, it sounds like hurting other religions or some of something. So we make it in such a way it's a harmonious piece of a word that can benefit all religion, right? Question anymore? Are you confident you are all right? So, Stephen, I'm happy that you are presenting your Diah. I think this time round, the participant has increased, yeah? 40. Right? It's a good sign. Is that you want to learn like what you sit down, not want to do things, you want to perhaps polish or develop a new skill, then thank you very much for what. All right. I was up to talk at 11, right? If there's any question, perhaps over coffee. On your own, right? All right, okay, that is all the best, and you need to don't worry, the kids, the university has assigned appointed all right, or Sam is a psychologist, all right? We will have to respect to some extent, okay? A lot of things to complain, we're not happy. I'm not, because there are participants who shake the butt. No, don't shake too much. Using a lot of the two hands like you make with not that. We we will advise. We will advise you. If, when you present, okay, not knowing that there are some articles, yeah, I think it's naturally. So, yeah, we get to have it and one practice from the area, and there will be but now we have your function here on the shoulder that you are created in order. So what? To take up the challenge. All right, to take up the challenge. Just remember I said to you. Okay. You have to shift your mindset. You have to shift your mindset from the academic to formal, creative things is very important. So when you want to grab your right? All right, okay, that's all I got. Unless you have some questions, yeah, I can take the question you know. All right, okay, and then, yeah, even last time with the hotel, you still have to yeah, so that the words that come out is clear, okay? With accent, there's no problem. Accent, there's no problem. Because different students, different culture, they have a different way of. All right, okay. Actually, yeah, you can start your. Okay. Thank you so much. And remind that we start our next session Nabiqul, starting at 11 p.m. Thank you.
Like to introduce Mohammad Nabiqul Hakim bin Azuar. Brother Nabiqul is a PhD candidate in law at IIUM and an accomplished presenter who won the IIUM 3MT competition, presented IIUM at the national level, and achieved first runner-up nationally. Today, he will share practical strategies on competition style presentations, time management, and personal insights from his 3MT journey. Let us welcome Brother Nabiqul Hakim.
Right. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so how's everyone? Okay. So they are have yet to come back, is it? Okay. All right. So first thing first, I would like to thank the CPS and the BGSS for inviting me as well in this workshop. And thank you for your participation. And thank you for all of you, CLIA representatives, for also participating in this workshop. Thank you, Dr. Azura, also my previous coach for last year, right, for training me until who I become today. Right, so this is my presentation. So my presentation is more on the presentation strategies and more of sharing of the tips, which I have personally experienced from my past participation of last year 3MT competition. Okay, next. Okay, so basically, I'm going to touch mainly on one, time management. Number two is competition strategies. And some of my points may be overlapping with Dr. Azra's points because that is what are the things that we are looking into and what are the things that the participants have to emphasize with. And number three is my own personal insights. Okay, next. Okay, so in order to strategize for the competition itself, okay, we have to know, as Dr. Azra is saying, that there are two things. Number one is the slide itself, and number two is the presentation side, the delivery of the content. Okay, so that is what the prime strategies are going to be thought of throughout the workshop today. Okay, next. Okay, so basically, I'm sure by now you have already know what is 3MT, 3-minute thesis competition, but I'm just wanting to emphasize that although this might seem as a one-off competition, but it is not a simply one-off. There are certain skills where you can take away, all right, up until the moment you are right now, okay, and until forever, okay. So personally speaking, one of the skills which I have from participating 3MT workshop is, number one is refining the sharpness and clarity of the research. So it really, really helps me in understanding what I'm doing all along. Okay, because when you are doing PhD research as a fellow PhD, I'm also still in my third year, right? Still haven't completed my thesis yet. Yeah, I'm targeting to end to submit my thesis end of this year. Okay, so as a fellow PhD researcher, we have a lot of things to handle in our hand, right? So we have a lot of information to digest. So we don't know which one that we should focus on and which one we should emphasize on. Okay, so by joining these 3MT competition, which you are in right now, Alhamdulillah, so I'm able to know of the presentation or the aspects of my thesis which I should on in my presentation. Okay, so that are the skills which you can gain, a long-term skill which you can gain throughout the TFT competition. And then number two, sorry. Okay, and then number two is the skill to explain to someone else. So when I go to conferences, for example, okay, when people say, okay, what's your PhD? It's all about. Okay, so when you attend conferences, you can't expect the people there are in your own field, right? There might be people from social sciences. For me, it's like from law. So there might be people from social sciences, education, and so on and so forth. So I'm having a hard time to explain, okay, my research that could be up to their understanding, okay? But by joining this competition, I'm able to now toning down my presentation so that my listener, all right, my friend or whatever, okay, can understand from the very first moment I explain about my thesis. Okay, so that's basically the perks of joining 3-minute thesis competition lah. Okay, next. Okay, so as similar as to Dr. Azura's tips, okay, in 3-minute thesis competition, normally these are the things, three matters that we are seeking. Okay, so in Dr. Azura's presentation is problem, solution, and impact, PSI. Okay, but it's the same thing. Number one is what? All right, what is the problem? You need to tell what is the problem. Okay, you need to create the so-called curiosity, okay, among the public, or you need to create the anxiety, all right, so that the people feel anxious, right? If we don't have this study, there will be problem. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, so what? What should anyone care, right? That is element of impact there, right? Why would anyone care about your research? What would be the implication? Implication, always remember, it can be in two forms. Number one is short-term implication, right? If I have this research, what is going to be the short-term implication? Number two is long-term. Maybe you can't see it now, right? But you can see in the near future for the next generation. Okay, that's impact. And then number three is solution. Now what? Okay, what can you propose from the overall research? Okay, so these are the three main components that we are looking into while we are presenting 3-minute presentation. And then when you are doing or crafting your presentation, Okay, I'm sure you have a lot of stuff to put into your, okay, and then that's always the challenges. In fact, with me as well, right? That's always my challenge to drop toning down from my original script. Okay, I'm sure that would be the normal challenge, but the one that guides me all along is this tip, right? In your script, after each and every sentences, you need to ask yourself, does this help the audience cross one of the three gates, right? If let's say you draft your script already, okay, but it's too long, you don't know which one you would slash, can, all right? So ask yourself this question, whether this sentence creates problem. Okay, if it's answer yes, then you remain as it is. But if another sentence doesn't even answer the problem, doesn't even address the impact, doesn't even address the solution, then you can slash it out from your script. Okay, so make sure your script is very brief, concise, and precise. Okay, so as far as it answer those, then it's okay. Okay. All right. So now I want you to jump into the shoe of the audience, right? So we are not learning from the eye, from the point of view of the presenter. Okay. So we are going to learn the 3 minute. This is from the eye of the audience, because the audience is going. If you manage to grab the audience attention, if you manage to make them understand about the topic, that's already one step ahead towards success. Okay. So the tips is that you win the audience heart first, right? So that's actually the tips where Dr. Azura and Dr. Pam, inshallah this evening, Dr. Pam is going to teach you, right? If we win the heart of the audience first, by way of capturing their attention, number one, okay, capturing their attention, number one, and number two, make sure they are they understand what you are talking about. Okay, if you win them by those two tips, it's already dia dah satu langkah dah. Okay, that is one step ahead, right, towards winning the competition. Next. All right, so I agree with Dr. Azura's content just now. Okay, there are two main things which you need to ensure yourself before, long before the day of the competition. Okay, number one is a comprehension and content. Okay, the script itself, right? So the script itself, for me personally, I have quite, major transformation to my script from the university level to the national level. Okay, mean to say, when I won at the national level, I've been coached by Dr. Azura and Dr. Pam. Okay, my script have undergone several changes, right, to the national level. Okay, so the presentation which Dr. Azura have shown you is actually after several numerous changes already, right, to the script. So the script is something it isn't like in one day process. Okay, you have to look at your script several times. Maybe tomorrow you have to look it back whether your script is able to grasp the audience attention and whether it can make the audience understand the topic. And then that's number one, the script. Okay, ensure your script across those three components answer everything, not too long and not too short. Okay, but it's precise, concise. And number two is your delivery skills. Okay, the delivery skills. Okay, you have your script is there, compact everything, but how you present it. And Alhamdulillah, you come to today's workshop, I will be sharing to you my actual script, which I have presented at the national level, so that you know the flow, what is the component, okay, and then how I will be presenting. Okay, the style of presenting. All of that credit to Dr. Azura lah, yang trained the way of how I present. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the two main components. Number one is comprehension and content, as I said, your script. Okay, your script together with your slides. Okay, the slides is the only complementary. Okay, don't put everything inside the slides. At the moment you put all those technical things inside the slides, the audience, for me, from my experience of joining national level, the audience already dah macam, okay, first instance, nampak slide very complicated, then the attention is not there now, right? The slide should be capturing the attention as best as possible. Okay, number two is engagement, of course. Okay, while you are presenting, okay, you need to have the engagement skills, right? Not one way, okay, not one way speech. Okay, in 3 minute thesis competition, what I learned is that the more you engage with the audience, either by way of question or either by way of asking the audience to join in your presentation. For example, like some of the presenters I've seen in the past, they would say, raise up your hand, right? If blah, 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 right? So that is some of the efforts to ask the audience to join in your presentation. So it's not like one-way speech, okay? So always remember, 3NP is not like a pidato or like a syarahan kind of speech where you are only having unilateral interaction. So 3MP is also bilateral interaction where you are also, on top of you presenting your research, you are also inviting the audience to engage in your presentation. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the rubrics. So the rubrics is actually the two components which I have stated just now. Comprehension and content. Number one, your script. The script must be very robust, okay, complete, comprehensive. And number two is engagement, communication, delivery of your speech. Okay, next. Okay, so how to build up a story? Okay, so you need, as Dr. Azra is presenting just now, you need to build up a story. It is a storytelling competition. It's like a storytelling competition, to be honest, right? But it's an academic way of storytelling competition. But how to build up a story? Okay, number one, of course, there needs to be a hook. Okay, and I will be sharing to you shortly after this how we want to devise our hook. Hook is like the umpan, right? The way, okay, the moment, okay, your presentation should start with a hook. I will give you the example of my hook shortly after this. So the moment, okay, your hook must be very strong and sharp, right? Something, the first 3 or 4 lines of your presentation should be something that creates the curiosity or something that was like, oh, kenapa? Right? Oh, why? Right? So something that creates that. If the moment you fail to create the 3 or 4 sentences of hook, right? So then you lose the audience straight away up to the very end. Okay. So normally, which are presenters which I have seen and observed in the past, even in the national level, their hook is very strong, right? Their first 2 or 3 sentences up front, okay, is very strong to the extent that it was like, oh, what is it? Okay, yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So basically, different room. Okay. Science, social science category would be in one hall. Science category would be in another hall. Okay. Yes. So different category, different winners. Right. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 for social science, 1, 2 for science category, even up to the national level. Yeah. I'm from social science category. Yeah. Oh, they will be sending like 2 things. One social science and science category to the international level. Yeah. Yes. Yes, correct. Different categories, different winners altogether. Macam mana Dr. Azura? Okay, in terms of impact.
Because we have products, so whatever lah the technology they have, then you will be figure more. Actually, both are the same. I from thinking that because of psychology and should be presented when it is in our ministry, so if you ask for tangible product, of course, there is a nice. But to say on that, she come up with some strategies to help also HIV. System. Right, so the strategy is also impactful. How to manage HIV something like that. So if you are not from or you are not producing any consumer product like that, okay, it doesn't mean that you are, lesser or second class. No, I don't want you to have that thinking. We are as powerful also as also the science. The only thing is the one that represented Mr. was from the study. Okay, he came up with learn. Is it a chemistry? Chemistry module. Chemistry module. It has been used in many schools. Now, one thing that I noticed in last year's competition, if you have the product, then chances to be become a winner in the past. Not not something that is still proposal level, so if your idea has been translated into something, usable for school, or for perhaps NGO, a group of, a community, that you very good. So you have or if you design a model, because designing a model or framework to solve a problem. So, for example, a business model, a financial model. A financial model that will also be useful. So think of a product. Okay. So what is the product? Framework. Framework. Yeah, framework is a product. So perhaps your framework, can be used in any architecture firm to reduce the cost, for example. Okay, so that is the product. So that is the product. Or your last time you want to renew the egg. The egg was I think grandmother's time. Okay, and then you propose that the egg should be revised, assessed, and a new animal should be incorporated in that law.
So basically, in my presentation, I see that the law has suffered some deficiencies, and then from best practices from other countries show otherwise. So that is basically the food that I'm trying to say. Like other countries already have applied this, but not Malaysia. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Some more. Okay. All right. So the next is problem. Okay. So to be honest, the problem is where you can be very dramatic. Okay, for me, right? So for me, this is I would say the one that I can show the dramatic part of my presentation. Okay, the one that I put the emotion inside is when you are explaining your research problem. Okay, so that the audience see, it's very sad, right? Or it's very emotional. Okay, and then your research mode means your methodology as well. So like Dr. Azura is saying, not use literature review. So that is actually my actual comments during the university level. So during the university level last year, I actually used the word literature review. And then I have been advised by Dr. Azura, please do not use literature review because you are explaining to even non-PhD audience. Okay, so even the word literature you cannot use. Right, so Dr. Pam advised me, or instead of literature review, you can use past studies, for example. Okay, those are the things that you need to evaluate your scripts again and again. Okay, whether there are any type in your script. So if there is, so you need okay. And then the finding, what you find so far, okay, the finding is very important, okay, because you tell us the problem, so they need to see what is the solution, okay. And agreed with Dr. Azura, so those winning participants last year at the national level are those who came out with an effective solution, okay. So think of any solution right from now, okay, that you can propose to solve the problem. And then the last one will be the impact. Tell the audience why this is even a need. Okay, why there is, what is the benefits flowing from your research. Okay. Right. So since my topic is on time management, so I try to break it down, right, in the 180 seconds. Right. So what you can put throughout the 180 seconds. Okay, so because it's not too, I mean, it's not too long for me. It's very, very short. Okay, the moment you present it, you realize already one bell ring. Okay, macam one minute left. So you need to sum up everything. Okay, so you need to effectively strategize your presentation. In those 3 minutes, what needs to be put in? So whatever unnecessary, you strike it out from the script. Okay, so breaking it down from 180 seconds, okay, disclaimer, there is no hard and fast rule. Okay, meaning to say there is no fixed rule. Like if you want to follow, you follow, but if you don't want, so as long as you can encapsulate everything inside your script is fine. Okay, but the distribution of time is merely on my advice. Okay, what you can put. Okay, you open up with a hook, as Dr. Azra is saying, okay, with a hook. And a hook can be in many, many forms. Right? It can be with human problems, you tell us the problems, right? Or it can be in a form of question. Okay, for me, my hook is in form of question. So later on, I will be showing you the script that have undergone those revisions by Dr. Azura. Okay, and then it can be in the form of scenario. Okay, so after this, maybe I can show you some of the sample of the book, or it can be in form of surprise. Okay, or it can be like maybe I still remember like one presenter in the national level that she started the presentation with like boom, something like that, right? So it was like, oh, apa ni, right? Okay, so next is okay, 0 to 20 seconds, right? Open up with a hook, and then 20 to 45 seconds. Tell us your problem, okay, the research gap, okay, what is the loophole? What is the problem occurs in the society that your research is seeking to solve? Okay, for me, this is like the interesting part, right? The part where you can enhance your hook. Okay, so if I show you the scripts, my script personally back then, this is the dramatic part. Okay, where you put all your emotions either by way of cry, I mean, not like crying, but sad, or angry, or something. Those in the problems of your research. And then the major part, I would say, the major part of the discussion is the methodology, but we don't explain as it is. Right? Methodology, if you, I mean, if as we know, as a PhD researcher, methodology ni memang very technical, right? For law, we have doctrinal quality and all that, but we don't use that word inside the presentation, right? Use other simple words that even like 6-year-old kid can understand. Okay, so the next one is the key results, right? Make sure it links back, all right? So from what Dr. Azura presented just now, so make sure there is a cohesion, make sure there is a linking, right, between all your points, your problem, and then your solution is addressing the problem. Then towards the end, 125 seconds onward, is showing the implication of your research to benefit who, okay, and whether you can retrieve that benefit in a short-term run or long-term run. And the last 160 to 180 seconds is for the closing. So closing need to be very impactful as well as similar to your hook. Okay? Dia bukan, nak tanya ke ada question? Alright, so meaning to say it's not like a typical, macam if you see a story punya ni, nanti kita tengok dia punya, okay, momentum. Okay, next. Okay, so basically, if I could draw the momentum of the research or the momentum of the presentation, okay, during the whole 180 seconds, 3 minutes of presenting, okay, the first part is already high. Means you start aiming higher in your introductory part of your presentation. Okay, jangan start macam tadi lah, betul lah. Macam jangan start macam Assalamualaikum. Macam very monotonous. No. Okay, it should start bigger. Okay, at the very front of the presentation. Okay, and then it's not like a typical macam apa storyline. Dia ada start lower and then climax, anti-climax, then conclusion. No. Bagi saya, for me personally, the momentum is like impactful start, and then at the middle also impactful, ends high. Okay, so it's like that. Impactful conclusion. All right, and I would say one of my style of presenting is through voice modulation. But at the end of the day, you would find even at the university level and the national level, there are different styles of presenters. Okay, and different style of presenters have different strength. Okay, but for me, my strength is in terms of voice modulation. Right. So when you talk about voice modulation, there are 3 things to consider. One is in terms of pitch. So there are certain parts where I have like cheeky voice, for example, very cheeky. Especially when I explain about the Teletubbies, it's like it sounds very cute as a 6-year-old kid, right? So that's in terms of pitch, all right? At some point of my presentation, in fact, like the most part of my presentation is like normal academic tone voice, right? So you have a diverse, right, tone of voice throughout the presentation. And number 2 is in terms of volume, right? So as Dr. Azra is saying just now, please do not be monotonous. So your volume needs to be diverse as well. At some point of time, you raise your voice. At some point of time, you tone down the voice. Okay? And then have the tone, in terms of its tone. Okay? At some point of time, you sound very sad. At some point of time, you sound very happy. All right? So those are the things where you need to work on. Okay? Combining all these 3 all together in your presentation. Okay? I think that's very much my strength, which carries me throughout the final round of the national level in terms of playing with the voices, diversity of the presentation. Okay. 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 So in terms of slides, the strategy, okay, similar to what Dr. Azra has presented. Okay. It is not a conference where you you dump everything, right? You dump every data, you dump every table, graph, everything inside the presentation. Although it's like only 1 slide, you cannot dump everything. Okay. And even in that slide, we cannot use the jargon. Okay, you need to filter everything. Okay, just only the words that everyone can understand in the slides. And the slides cannot be too wordy. Okay, minimize the wording, but maximize the visual graphics, the pictures, and all that. Okay, right? Okay, so there is like a simple comparison. Like bad slide means that it's very wordy, all graphs, all data, all tables are inside. Okay, no. Okay, So a good 3MC slide only have like those image. Maybe you can have one image or maybe more images, graphic visuals, one metaphor. Metaphor means your analogy. So as for me, I use like Teletubbies and the baby sign. Okay, because you need to create the curiosity. Okay, so people, the audience may ask themselves, okay, why Teletubbies is there? What's the relationship with my study? Okay, and then the wording. The wordings is minimize the wording, not too much, okay, and only use the words that everyone can understand. Okay, so that's the tips of the slide. Okay, next. Okay, so as shown by Dr. Azra, I also shown my previous slides. Okay, these are the slides which I have presented at the national level after several revision, numerous times revision by Dr. Azra and Dr. Pamela. But this totally, I mean, not totally, but not definitely not university level slides which I have presented, because university level, I remember the slide is very, I mean, there are some technical things also in the slide. Okay, but we tone it down, put the metaphor inside. The Teletubbies and the babies are not here at the national level, only at the university level. At national, sorry, university level tak ada. At national level, we put the metaphor inside. Okay, so next. All right, so these are when we talk about transforming simple things. I try to search for scientists examples, right? Transforming those words into a friendly, audience-friendly word. If, for example, if we see the second example, like thermal stability optimization of perovskite photovoltaic material. So it sounds very technical, it sounds very jargon, sounds very science. So if I were to sit there in the presentation, even me, myself, I don't understand. Okay, so the way of the art, I would say the art, the skill that I've learned in 3-minute thesis competition is the art of changing words into a baby friendly word. Okay, even like a 6-year-old, 5-year-old kid can understand. Okay, so if we try to change these words, so the audience friendly word would sound like this: how to make cheaper solar cells survive summer heat. So it sounds very much understandable, right, to the public at large, right? Okay, next. Okay, so you might ask me, okay, how do I design my hook? All right, because hook is very much important. The moment you fail to catch, or you fail to design a good hook, I would say you lost your audience up till the end of the presentation. So to determine the audience engagement, to determine impact of the presentation, I would say the hook. All right, if you have a good, impactful hook at the very beginning, inshallah, the audience would very attentive to you up to the very end. Okay, so the question now is, how do we design our hook? Right, so hook can be in different forms. Right, for example, hook by question. For me, I use hook by question. You ask questions to the audience. Okay, for example, okay, I use education kind of example. What makes one classroom inspiring and another one discouraging? Okay, so that is like hook by question. You ask the audience a form of question. So that is also part of the remarks for audience engagement as well. Okay. Number 2 is hook by relating it with daily life. Okay, you relate because why daily life is important? Because audience may feel inclusive, right, in that presentation. Okay, you try to create something which happen in the daily life so that we feel relatable. Okay, for example, every morning millions of students walk into classroom carrying more than just one book. Okay, for example. 3, hook by imagination. So these are among the common hooks, right? Imagine. Okay, so that is like common hooks, I would say, right? To try to invite. Macam contoh, last year for engineering kat Madi as well, Mr. Madiha is like, close your eyes and imagine. So the line kat Madi lah. So close your eyes is asking the audience to close your eyes is also a form of audience engagement. Close your eyes and imagine. Okay, so that's like one line from a system from engineering last year. Okay, and who, by contrast, you create like the irony. Okay, so that is also one example. For example, education promises opportunity, but opportunity is not always experienced equally. Okay? Or it can be even hooked by both statements. Okay? Not all students fail because they lack ability. Very bold statement. Okay? Next. Okay, so delivery that feels human, not robotic. Definitely. Okay, so so basically, this is like one of the huge main challenges also, because when the moment you have designed your script, okay, the participants tend to strictly memorize the script. So when the moment the participants presenting, right, on the day of the competition, it sounds very much script driven. Okay, very much scripted. So that is what I meant by robotic. So you know already, it's like reading off your script. Okay, so you need to ensure that although you have script, you're not strictly driven by the script. You need to sound that you are making a natural way of presentation. Okay, so that is, if you ask me how to do it, it is by way of practice. Right, so it cannot be, I mean, it's hard to answer. Only by practice you know, right, how to sound natural, how not to sound very much scripted. Okay. Next. All right, is the important part. I would see it as the grandmother test. Okay, so you imagine you imagine that in front of you is like your own grandmother. So last year, Sister Madiha for engineering, who won the science category, okay, who participate with me at the national level as well. Okay, she said to me that at home, because she's living at home, she explained their 3MT rehearsal back to back with her mother. Okay, so that is one of the tips that you can use also, right? So I frame it as the grandmother test. Okay, so you imagine that you are presenting in front of your parents or in front of a grandmother. So of course, your grandmother doesn't, I mean, is not within your field, most probably. Okay, or you explain to a school kid. Okay, the test is, could someone outside your field, okay, so I'm in law, so thankfully, alhamdulillah, I have social science, human science teacher, okay, so I tone down everything. So the law aspect, for me, at the institute level, I put all the laws inside, but alhamdulillah, at the national level, all of that managed to be toned down lah. Okay, so could someone outside your field, even your grandmother, understand the main point of your research quickly and clearly? So if, let's say, for example, number one, field grammar's test. For example, the sentence would be, my research investigates the psychosocial determinants influencing differential educational engagement among underrepresented learners. So very much technical there. So the moment you hear, you lost, I mean, if you are the audience, you lost the attention already. Okay? But the one that passed grammar test would sound like this. In my research, instead of investigates, he used the word looks. Okay, my research looks at why some students feel left out in school and how that affects their learning. So every single word, right? Every single word is audience friendly. Okay, no need to use investigate, psychosocial differential education engagement, and blah blah blah. Okay, and then the one in red, okay, which I agree so much with Dr. Azura, using analogy. So analogy again and again is very, I would say, important. Okay, for me, my analogy is by way of Teletubbies and the sign. Okay, because if we watch Teletubbies, I'm sure we all watch, right? okay, during our childhood, okay, the time the story would begin when the sun rise up, right? And then the Teletubbies would start dancing happily, singing happily under the sun, meaning to say everyone would enjoy the sun. So my research explains that, okay, how to make sure everyone enjoy the sun as similar to Teletubbies, but now using law. Okay, so that's basically my research is. So making analogy to things that are relatable, right, to everyone. Okay, next. Okay, common mistakes. Okay, number one is jargon. Okay, jargons I would say it's a total no-no. All right, total red flag. The moment you have those technical terms inside, please slash it out. For example, last year, Sister Madiha, again from engineering, sorry, kita banyak guna engineering sebab Sister Madiha, I think dia bagus in terms of using analogy, right? How she would explain like a composite material that she has something, right, into a form of ice cream cake. So everyone can understand, right? Ice cream cake macam mana, how does it, I mean, the apa orang kata, the layers, the texture of the ice cream cake is very much relatable with the material that she worked on. Okay, so that is like one form of analogy that Sister Madiha put forward during the national level last year. Okay, number two is method dump. You know, say when we are explaining our methodology, we tend to use all those terms, literature, quality, all those terms may not be friendly to a layman audience. So think of any better wording. Okay. And number three is, of course, crowded slides. Everything to put into the slides. So I've shown you my sample. There could be other better samples as well. Okay, but the slide is very much minimalistic, but everything is inside. Okay, but not too much. Okay. Number four is racing the clock. This is also one of the main challenges. Meaning to say, you try to run, okay, in the period of 3 minutes. So you feel that, oh, it's very short. You need to be rushing. Okay, in fact, that is also one of my challenges last year. Okay, I tend to be very fast, speak very fast to run against the clock. Okay, whereby it's a total no, right? I try to complete my presentation to 250 at least. Another thing to remember about time management, even 0.01 second could lead to dismissal. I mean, could lead to disqualification already. Right? So, Dr. Azura is with me last year, national level. There are plenty of very excellent presenters during the preliminary rounds at the national level. Okay, but the thing is, they exceeded the timing. Okay, and in fact, if they are within the timing, in fact, I don't stand a chance also, right, to get into the final round. Okay, so there are some good presenters, excellent presenters, but because of their timing is 1 second. Okay, 3.01. Right, so it's like very some tiny minor mistakes could lead you not to qualify to the final round. Okay, so timing is very much important. Okay, so for me, I try to complete my presentation at 250 seconds. Okay, 2 minutes 50 seconds is already done. Okay, because you don't know on the actual day, you might have some gaps, right? You might be very complacent, dark comfort zone, right? You might have, you may tone down your pace, all right? So there is a buffer zone lah kat situ, all right? So try to complete at 250 seconds lah. From my advice. Okay, and personally also 250 seconds is my tips last year. Okay. Yeah. Control the pace, practice. Practice. Mhm. Yes. Mm. Okay. Okay. My answer would be one only lah, practice. Right. I'm also having the same I would say same challenges. Okay. When I was too nervous, I tend to be very quick, very fast, running against the clock. But Alhamdulillah, I managed to overcome it by way of practicing. And in fact, last year, we practiced until Maghrib also with Dr. Azura. Dr. Azura is here. Okay, spending time with us to see our presentation. So my tip is, I think, only one. My answer is only one, practice. And in fact, after this, I will show the slides on practicing lah. And then week ending, okay, the ending should be as impactful as the start. And then number 6 is low visible energy. So you need to present with a very bright energy. Okay, bersemangat. Bukan macam yang Azura cakap tadi lah. Alright. Again, next. Okay, so these are my suggestions of how you could prepare towards the competition day. Okay, number 1 is, of course, you just craft an ugly draft first. You no need to be perfectionist at the very first instant, right? Draft everything, have a rough draft first. And then from the rough draft, you're drafting, cut 25%. Mean to say you filter it out, see whether there are technical terms inside. If, let's say, you are unsure, you try to, your friends, which is not your field, they try to check with you, is there anything that they don't understand? Okay, number 3 is you build up the slide. Okay, day 1 and day 2, make sure when you are drafting your script, you follow the timeline that I have explained. Make sure there is a hook, make sure there is a problem, make sure there is a methodology, make sure there is a solution finding and implication. So as long as those components are in, then your script is good already. But now you just have to enhance your script effectively. So filter it out and then build the slides. The slide also not too much. Make sure there is a huge graphic there. And then day 4 is rehearse out loud. Okay, rehearsal is important because you may not know the script that you have done is suitable or not to be presented, or not. Okay, when we go for presentation, then we know, oh, this one is, this sentence is not very much suitable for us to deliver in our presentation. Maybe there are different style needed. Okay. And day 5, test it on non-specialists, which is very important. Make sure even a 6-year-old kid can understand. And then day 6 is, okay, record yourself. This is like my style back then. Okay, when I was practicing alone, I will put like a phone in front of me and then press record. Okay, so that is like my style. And then I presented in my own room. Okay, after I presented, I stop, I look again at the time, whether it's exceeded or not. Normally, I would ensure that it's 2:15 normally. And then I would see back my presentation. Okay, so some people would say present in front of mirror, but with all due respect, I disagree because you cannot see back your presentation. Okay, so for me, I record my presentation so that after I've done, I can re-watch it again and see, oh, maybe at this point I can change. Maybe at a certain minute, maybe at a certain second I can change. All right. Okay, next. Okay. Okay, this is like the theme. Okay, next. Okay, so these are among the sample of training titles opening, okay, which is the hook. But no worries, I will share my own hook after this. Okay, next. Again, this one are the example of the slides that you can use. Okay, the huge part, I would say more than 60% of the slide is dedicated for the graphic, the visual. Okay, because that is what engages the audience. Okay, if let's say we don't put this picture, this big picture, we put instead wordings, then all this would feel very boring already. Okay? Next. Next. Okay. Time management, as I said, complete it within 250 seconds. So that stage no 50 minutes. Okay. So when it comes to timing, they are very strict with regard to timing. So in fact, to tell you, frankly speaking, to tell you the truth, last year was my second time of joining. Okay. My first time of joining is in 2024. Okay. Where I didn't even proceed to the final round, which mainly because of my time. Okay. I exceeded the 3 minutes. Okay. So timing again and again is very important. Okay. That happens as well at the national. The moment you exceeded even 0.01 milliseconds, then you are disqualified already. So we don't want things go like that. Okay. So ensure kurang tak apa, tapi jangan kurang sangat. Right? You can minimize up to 250, but the best one would be 255 lah. But I would say I don't want to take the risk. Okay? Right, next. Okay, practice makes perfect. So if you ask me how many times I would practice in one day, some people put quantity or 20 times, 30 times in one day. But again, with all due respect, I disagree because practice depends on yourself. Okay, for me, my rule of thumb is that you practice until the moment you find no flaws in your presentation. And that's the moment where you stop practicing. Okay, so if let's say you practice again 10 times already practicing, still you find some mistake, even minor mistake, you keep on practicing. So that's the style of me last year. Right, I keep on practicing in one full day. I tell you the truth, like for national level, one full day to I practice. All right, again, ada salah sikit, even like if there is like minor mistakes, I repeat it again and again and again, right? Until you find no flaws. Okay, because to tell you the truth, my biggest fear is the loss of memory during the presentation. So that is my biggest fear actually. All right, and all right, because the moment you blank, the moment you forget your script, your presentation become haywire already. Okay, so that is actually my biggest fear last year. So that's why I practice 100 times a day, all right, again and again, so that the script's already in my mind. Okay, because why? Because there are presenters yang blank. Dia dah blank, dah total ni dah. Alright, go haywire everything. Okay, so that's I would say my biggest fear. Okay, to overcome that fear, you need to practice again and again so that at least you don't memorize script word by word. At least you memorize what is the key point, what is the key word, right? What is the cues, right? Key cues that you can memorize or remember throughout the presentation. Okay. Okay. Delivery. Voice, vary the tone. Okay, you need to have diverse tone, voice modulation. Pace, not too slow but not too fast. Pauses, there are certain parts you need to pause. For example, for me in the past is that is where audience would, what happened? Okay, and then body. Actually, I have trouble with this also. Okay, yeah, body. All right, your body. Last year, you have to. I mean, you have to be like, okay, straight out, right? For me, I have trouble with this because when I presented, I tried to be cheeky, something. All right, so that's like my problem, my trouble before. Okay, so body gestures you need to be cautious with also and be eye. Okay, So last year, tips from Dr. Yusof, okay, dia kata, alright, in terms of eye contact, at least you have 3 points, okay, left, mid, and the right. And make sure throughout your presentation, you capture all these points. Okay, of course, the judge's eyes you need to see lah. But then on top of that, you need to have this left, middle, and right. And also, the last one is the stage presence. Okay, the stage is big, right? Big enough for you to walk around. But please do not walk lah, okay? Because walking too much is also not good. Okay, again, in terms of walking, okay, I use also the same formula. Okay, you walk to 3 points. Okay, number one is at the right, and sometimes in the middle, and sometimes at the right. Okay, so make sure eye contact 3 points, and also stage present. Please do not stand still at 1 point. You can walk because dia ada marker for stage present. Alright, walk at 3 points. Sometimes you walk left, sometimes in the middle, sometimes at the right. Okay, so that's the tips. 3 points of eye contact, 3 points of stage. Okay, next. Okay, personal insight. Do not sound academic, of course. There is no like one strong analogy. For me, I use analogy of Teletubbies and the baby sign. And then first draft will be too long. Okay, no need to worry. Your first draft, maybe your rough draft will be too long. But it's for you to work onto again and again. For you to look into again and again. Number 4 is timing. Timing is important. Do not exceed the timing. And with confidence. And please do not use any sorry, right, in your presentation. Sorry. Okay, so if you have happened to have any mistake, do not say at all the word sorry, right? Try to bridge it with another sentence so that people would recognize, okay, I mean, people would not see there is a mistake inside your presentation. Okay, next. Okay, time management, practice, and then number 3, I think this is very important. This happened at the national level also, where your presentation is good, but the one that damage your presentation is all those technical things. Okay, this is happened at the national level last year, where sometimes the slide is not moving. The presenters walk in the middle of the stage, start talking immediately, without checking the slide is already presented or not. Okay, that's number 1. So by right, if you are participating, even at the level, you need to check 2 things. Right? Number 1 is to check the mic. The mic is like the yang macam boleh jalan punya mic, alright? Cordless mic. So you need to check. So for me, so for me, I say the word test 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 first. Okay? Because last year, even national level, we are talking about national level, the mic is not working in the middle of presentation. So you don't want those technical things to damage your presentation. And number 2, you check your slides, whether your slides has already been presented or not. Kalau tak project lagi the slides, then you have to wait until the committee project the slides first. Okay? Because you don't want all those technical aspects damage your presentation. Okay, so next. Okay, I think I've already done this. Next. Okay, checklist also done. Okay, go to the script. Yeah, I just to show you them the scripts that we have been working on last year. Okay. Okay, so that is basically my presentation. So right now, I'm showing to you my actual scripts that I have been presented at the national level competition, which have undergone numerous revision by Dr. Pam and Dr. Azura. Okay, so these are my scripts. All right. Can we enlarge it out? actually I already forgot the script, but I tried to read it out with the tone that I have used during the presentation. Okay, so of course, I start with, oh yeah. Okay, right. So here's my script presented at the national level competition last year. Thank you, credit to Dr. Azura and Dr. Pam. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, do you remember? So that is my turn. Do you remember the baby sign from the Teletubbies? Every episode begins with the baby sign. Smiling, kickling. All right, I use that tone. Kickling, shining over the Teletubby land. Okay. Here, we have our sun too. Except ours doesn't giggle, it grills us. So you see the tone of voice, it grills. It really shows the feeling. It grills us till we become chicken barbecue already. So my research explores how we can turn our sun into a friendly and reliable source of energy by creating laws and policies so that our solar power can grow healthily, sustainably, and fairly for everybody. So that is where I raise up my voice, okay, to show the importance. In my reviews, I have found that Malaysia and the science are BFFs. So that's like the tone. Okay? Besties, perfect for solar energy, right? So that's like you lower up. Okay? Perfect for solar energy, right? But shh. So it's like sudden silence in the middle, right? Attempting to capture the audience attention, but shh. Solar power is not perfect by default. In 2023, a huge solar project in India faced protests. Why? Because the locals said, you want to develop solar energy, but you sacrifice our land and nature in the name of clean energy. Right? So I put emotion inside. The sadness is that, right? So that reflects my earlier speech where I say the problem is where you can be very dramatic of. Okay? So answer this, everyone. How do we respond to those cries? Okay, this is where I want to say something. Okay, at the university level, I tried to put this scenario also. But unfortunately, I was smiling. If I remember, I was like maintain the smile, all right? But that is the thing where you cannot do. You need to ensure your facial expression reflects what are the things you are saying. Okay, so at the national level, at this part, my face turned sad lah. Okay, so that's where energy trilemma comes in. Sounds very sophisticated, right? Don't worry, it's just a fancy way of asking three simple questions. And these three considerations can be adopted in our law and can be exemplified globally. Okay, because you need to show that something that you have done is up to the global implication. Okay, you need to show that the things that you have done, every part of the world can follow. Okay, one is solar energy enough for everybody? Then I still remember I moved to the left side of the hall. Okay, because as I said, 3 points. 3 points you have to move around the hall, right? I mean around the stage. One, is solar energy enough for everybody? That's energy security. Number two, I move to the middle, right? Two, is solar energy affordable? That's energy equity. Okay. Number three, is solar development environmentally friendly? That's environmental sustainability. Yeah, these tips I use Dr. Pam's tips, right? Because it sounds very jargon, but you don't want to put it up front, right? If I put like three environmental sustainability, or let's say three energy equity, then people would say, apa? Right? So I put something simple in front, then it follows what is the definition. Because normally people would say the term and then what is the definition, but you change it. You define it first, then you explain. That's the things that you are explaining. And yes, we do have laws. For instance, the Renewable Energy Act 2011 in Malaysia. I put that Malaysia. Why? Because of pronunciation, right? Because Dr. Pan advised me, okay, Malaysia sounds very Malay. If you want to qualify for the national round, you need to sound, you need to, I mean, sound very English, all right? So I put that Malaysia. So that I remember, this is like my script looks like. Okay? But when I read and analyze the law, it needs a major upgrade. Why? Because it doesn't answer to those three critical concerns. To those to respond to those concerns, my research proposes. This is where I make my sound, my voice louder. My research proposes reforms and amendments to this act, like introducing community-based solar projects with financial support and adding environmental safeguards to protect the nature while developing solar to ensure justice and human rights are always upheld across the globe. Uh, then I use some of these signature signature line. Now close your eyes and imagine. Okay, so this is like a form of audience engagement. Close your eyes and imagine a remote area. So the way of how you pronounce have to need to have those feelings. A remote area in Africa where children study by the candlelight, and when the flame dies, okay, voice effect. Okay, so that's like another tip from Dr. Pan. Okay, where if you read the rules, music or songs is not allowed, but voice effect is okay. Okay, so please, you can use these tips to make your presentation more nice, more appealable. Okay, so it's like when the flame died, okay, the silence was complete. The sun rises for them too, but its energy never, never reaches their. But I'm confident, okay? So I'm confident that my research and solar power can significantly change this, provided our laws are fair and inclusive for the mankind. And then remember always, your closing has to be impactful as your hook, right? So my closing is that, and just like the Teletubby land, the baby sun gives us joy and excitement, but only if we have the audacity to start with the baby steps to turn the law into life. Okay, so that's like my closing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Nabiqul, for that inspiring and practical tips. Now, my dear friends, before moving on to have our lunch break, let's have a photography session together with three of our facilitators. For that, kindly follow the instructions of our photographer. Please proceed to the back of the hall. Dear participants, we will now break for lunch and Zohar prayer. Please be back in the hall by 2 p.m. as we will promptly continue with our afternoon session. Your lunch is provided and it is there in the downstairs. So please have your lunch and inshallah we can meet by 2 p.m.